Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. We're live right now, just so you know, and we're recording, I guess. But I'm doing fine. For the viewers at home, the price of Bitcoin right now is 84,500 cuck bucks, and I still feel nothing, even though that's about 11 or 12% drop from last week when we were around 96,000. I don't know. I'm not moved. Are you?
No, I'm a little annoyed that I don't have enough cash to buy the dip.
No, yeah. No
Um,
cash. I'm out.
I yeah, I mean it's like shit, dude. I really wanted to smash buy some more Bitcoin this week. It's been tough. But we'll get them next time. I think that when you've been in Bitcoin for a couple years, like these dips are really good. We're 20 or 30 grand off of the all-time high. And how long did we spend in the 40s, after being down from 69? And those were good stacking days. So I think my only annoyance is that yeah, I can't take advantage of it as much as I want to, but I don't really care about the price going down.
Yeah, I know I have nothing. Everyone's like I don't see a lot of people saying buy the dip because I feel like most of us are out of completely out of pocket at this point, right?
Yeah, dude, it's tough. I mean, I think that, I sort of felt like Trump's election was going to turn things around. And I think, there's a lot of good things that have happened in the last month, but the interest rates are still high. The economy is still struggling. We have, of course, it's insane to think that he's going to flip a switch and make everything better. But how long until we actually see some improvement? I think the unemployment numbers are coming out, and those aren't going to be very good. GDP might be negative for the first quarter, which that would be pretty bad. But anyone paying attention, you could see the writing on the wall that the Biden administration was really loading up a giant bag of trash just to dump on the next administration. And so I think it's going to be tough here for a few months.
Well, they're actually trying to make substantive change to the economy and they're trying to cut bureaucracy and that doesn't mean, I mean, that's a weak dollar is good for Bitcoin, right? Like,
It is.
so if they're actively trying to strengthen the dollar and to put things in place to actually make, not just like fix the economy near term, but fix it long term, then that can be considered probably, bad for Bitcoin, I guess, like in the short term, but
Yeah.
great for it in the long term. And I mean, nothing really stops this train, right? Like it, as Lynn Alden says. I mean, there eventually money will be printed. It's just the way that it's going to be, and Bitcoin will go to north of $1 million, and it's going to be hilarious that anyone quibbled over a dip from 96,000 to 84,000. It's going to seem silly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have not felt panic at all. And, and we talked about this before, but when we hit 16 after dropping down from 60, that made me nervous, but I've been in it too long. I think it's super natural to have these pullbacks. And I think it's also really healthy. And if you've been sitting on the sidelines, now is the time if you're fortunate enough to have some dry powder to really make a decent size contribution to your stack.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. How much Bitcoin do you have today versus yesterday?
Yeah, that's it. I think the only folks that are in trouble, well, it really depends on how you're positioned in Bitcoin, right? So if you haven't taken out debt and you've just bought what you could with your fiat earnings or sold off other capital to buy Bitcoin, then like you're fine because you've got a long enough time horizon, a low time preference. But if you've, taken the HELOC out and got leveraged debt and this loan over here, and you got crazy interest payments on it, and you need Bitcoin to hit a certain percentage increase within 6 months or a year, you care a lot more because you're forced to by the mechanisms that you played the game by. So I think it is and people can be successful uh employing those strategies, and they can end up with a lot more Bitcoin maybe than what I would have. But the flip side of that, you might be forced to sell Bitcoin, and
Right.
and it's going to be a lot more of a stressful process for you. Meanwhile, I just sleep like a baby at night. Like I've got complete peace of mind. I love where I'm at with everything, and I could keep doing this for years. It's fine. Like it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the way I look at it is, the $1 million Bitcoin or the $10 million Bitcoin, whatever the number is, that's like someone saying, "Hey, you're going to be okay for the rest of your life. You can
Yeah.
kind of go on vacation, you can tune out, you can pursue your hobbies. You don't have to go back to the celt mine, the fiat mine." And that's been delayed. You know, the dream of being able to live off of your Bitcoin might be delayed a little bit. But that's the only real negative I see. And at the end of the day, I still have plenty of working years. I plan to work for 15 or 20 more years, unless Bitcoin really surprises all of us. But that's really the only bad thing. I mean, I'm just like you. I've got Bitcoin in self-custody. I've got cash flow from a full-time job, and I'm managing my expenses. So for me, it's just, we're just kind of ducks on the water, just sort of swimming. The dip is great if you can stack more sats, but I think learning to look towards the future and sort of put today aside, like that's the key lesson that I think I'm still learning. It's like the vacation has been delayed.
I'm thinking 10, 20 years out anyway. When I first got involved in Bitcoin, I was thinking like 2 years out, maybe a
Yeah.
year.
Right.
And now I think like 10 or 20. And that's not because you like temper your expectations. It just changes the way that you perceive the world. And you probably even hope for that a bit more because it gives you more time to get more Bitcoin at a lower price. It's just when you have the conviction, you see the direction things are going, like you become at peace with waiting for a decade. And
Yeah, I think a decade is right. 2034, I think if you've got a decent amount of Bitcoin relative to you, that'll be the time where you can really kick your feet up. I think
yeah,
it's got to be 10 years. Maybe at one point I thought, well, by 2028, the halving is going to be, it's going to cause 1 point something, 1.75 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. So if you've got the halving amount at that point, that could be pretty significant, So that's sort of a goal to shoot for. Get to the halving in 2028 if you're starting to stack today. But yeah, I think by 2034, the gold rush for Bitcoin, the digital rush will be over. 99% will be mined. So 20 years we might be living like kings for 10 years by that time.
yeah. I listen, I'm not concerned what happens over a given day. I'm thinking about what's going to happen. If 10 years we're at 84,000, that's horrible. That would be a different
Yeah,
story, but it's not going to be that
not
way.
a not a chance.
But I think it could happen a lot faster than 10 years. Like I'm just buffering in to like lower my expectations in terms of time. Like, all right, 10, 20 years. Okay. Just frame my mind for that. And then, I mean, I do think that things can happen a lot faster. It can get very violent and rapid. And yeah, it could have life-changing wealth, in the span of a couple years. You never know.
Yeah, it's hard to know. I've been kind of preoccupied with watching the Cynthia Lummis and sort of the U.S. Strategic Reserve Bill sort of go up in smoke.
Tell me about that. Yeah, what are you seeing on your end? What's your opinion here?
Well, I'm persuaded by the argument that politicians cater to Bitcoiners in order to gain money from a constituency. So the crypto, Bitcoin, whatever you call that block of voters, is really just a deep a deep pool of capital that a politician can tap into if they say the right things. So I think it's probably fair. It is fair to ask politicians like Cynthia Lummis, who went to Nashville and said she's got a Bitcoin strategic reserve bill. If they're serious, it appears that perhaps they're not. And really, what the politicians are interested in is stablecoin development and regulation. You know, that really helps the dollar go throughout the world. It causes people to purchase our debt. You take a dollar in USDT or whatever USD stablecoin, and the company that issues those purchases US debt. So I feel like that it's now up to the states. I don't know that the US government is going to do it. And I think people are getting either impatient or they've sort of given up. I don't see any momentum around it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I am not happy with seeing Loomis go to PubKey and pay with cash. Listen,
Right.
and say, oh, spend your cash, save in Bitcoin. You're at a very rare place where you can actually like pay with Bitcoin. And from just a PR standpoint, the optics of that are horrible. And you can try and spin that into a good thing, but you should be ready to understand how that process is going to work, so that you're prepared to have that moment paying with Bitcoin at PubKey. I mean, that's the whole point.
It
So
is.
the fact that she shows up there not prepared for that is an indication that she doesn't really get it. And she's not really thinking that too far in advance with this stuff. I mean, I agree with you. However, all this happened pretty quickly. I mean, within the span of a year or two. I mean, maybe Bukele kicked things off if you want to say, 3 years uh, of politicians considering Bitcoin, talking about Bitcoin, launching meme coins and stuff. This is all very, very new, and now it's like it happened quickly, and it's happening with more politicians. Now more politicians are forced to have to try to understand it. So I think the way that things look right now are really chaotic and really cringy to watch a lot of it, and how they're either misunderstanding Bitcoin and crypto or lumping them into the same category, or like intentionally doing it. It's gonna look so much different 10 years from now. It's like it's like just weird. It's like when you're watching someone on Twitter try to understand Bitcoin for the first time and they just say the cringiest shit. And you're like, oh, you don't get it.
Yeah.
Got like but you've got like a 500,000 followers and you're saying the dumbest shit. You have no idea how stupid you sound. It's sort of like that, but on a political scale.
I
I
think
think we're gonna
my
have Bitcoin candidates. We're going to have Bitcoin
yeah.
maximalists as like a movement, a political movement. We're already seeing it going that direction, but I think we will have the Bitcoin maxi candidate, right? You're gonna have that sound money libertarian kind of guy
Yeah.
that is, maybe a future president.
Yeah, let's hope so. I think that would be good. I struggle with sort of being black-pilled over the last month or so. I've been extremely negative and toxic and cynical.
Yeah.
And when I see Cynthia Lummis paying with cash at PubKey and she says, saving Bitcoin, spending dollars, that's it. That's what the powerful people want. They
Yeah.
want to have a digital and stable coin. It was a CBDC. Nobody accepted the marketing for that, so it's been rebranded. We're still getting the same thing. You're still getting the digital dollar, and I'm afraid that that's the future. Not that she's deliberately pointing to it, but that's what I could see as the next step, where people are spending in their fiat currency and saving in Bitcoin. As a
Yeah.
Bitcoiner, you don't want that, and there people ask, well, you can't just, are you going to spend your Bitcoin? It's yes, I will once Bitcoin is more evenly distributed, or at least once the adoption rate is higher. We're talking about 3% adoption rate. Nobody has Bitcoin except a few people.
Right.
So I will absolutely spend my Bitcoin once let's say we're at 20 or 30%, the price of Bitcoin could be in the millions of dollars. But I would much rather do that than earn in dollars, save in Bitcoin, spend in dollars. Like, give me a break. But that's the piece that I feel like is really kind of hard to swallow. We have a better future, but the people with power and with authority are not going to embrace it. And instead, they're going to lead us down a path of stable coins, surveillance coins, centrally issued coins, which is what we have now.
And it's such bullshit. Like you're paying for a hamburger. Talking about, you're going to tell me about you're not buying a house. You're talking about saving in Bitcoin. It's $15. Pay in
Right.
Bitcoin. What, you can't you can't afford to relinquish? No, you just don't have a wallet. Like you don't understand how Bitcoin works. You just don't use it. You don't really care about it. Like,
Right. That's the truth. There's no Bitcoin wallet on her phone, I guess.
and I guess she doesn't have people in her corner that at this point, well, probably in her own constituency, she may be the one that like understands it the most, which is not a good sign. And eventually you're going to have either folks that like are Bitcoiners that are kind of pulling the strings a little bit or making sure that candidates doing the right thing or saying the right thing. Right now, you don't have that, and it shows. So she can't pander appropriately.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's weird, man. I mean, what do you do if you're a pleb? And I just keep going back to you have to focus on your craft.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is a wonderful distraction. Bitcoin Twitter is a wonderful distraction. Uh, but at the end of the day, it's you have to continue to stay solvent, figure out a way to make money, save it in Bitcoin, and hopefully we're working towards a better future. I think it'll probably surprise us how quickly Bitcoin rebounds. It might take 6 weeks or 8 weeks, but I think we're going to be back to all-time highs pretty soon. And I think that this dip has cleaned out a lot of leverage. And I think that we're going to be grateful if we're able to buy some Bitcoin at these levels. We're going to look back and be really happy about that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm for one am I think addicted to Twitter and to the dopamine hit of that. I've got to rein that in a bit more and not just yeah, get pulled into the even like all the I've just been commenting on all the shitcoiners and this whole XRP army stuff and these idiots. Like they're 90% bots, 10% humans that buy into the bots and the astroturfing that Ripple pays millions of dollars for. And I just can't stand them to see them in the comments of like Ian Carroll posting that he joined Marty on TFTC and talking about Bitcoin. They're like, XRP is like the thing. It's going to outlast the tech. It's like you are such an idiot. You have any idea how fucking retarded you sound? Like you're a fucking idiot. I just want to smack him. Wake the fuck up. You know? Shake him. Shake him. Just dunk the head in the water. Wake up.
Arguing, you're arguing with bots, dude. You need to create your own bots to argue back.
Dude, so I'll look at the profile and be like, is this person a bot? Sometimes the answer is clear. You can obviously tell if they're not like posting anything.
Yeah,
And
they've got 28
I got
followers,
you get 20 followers. Some of them,
all replies.
some of them are actually just fools. 10% of them are real people that are retarded. And and I was just like, I should just let them be retarded in peace. But something every now and then I'll have a day and I'll just be like, you know what? I'm fucking battling in the comments here. I'm not gonna
Dude,
let.
that's been my life for like the last month. That's what I'm saying. When I say black pill, that's exactly what I mean. It is
Mhm.
it used to be the hex people that were so
Yeah,
ridiculous.
they went away real quick.
Yeah, and goodness, the Solana people. Oh man. Um
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of tribalism, but I think that only the Bitcoiners are correct. Every other shitcoiner has been proven wrong repeatedly. The Bitcoiners are, we get laughed at for Bitcoin dropping $20,000 when it's still 84 grand for
Yeah.
1 year. Dude, it's like it's still very out of reach for most people to pick up one Bitcoin. You can buy all these altcoins for whatever, a couple $100 or $1 or less than $1. It's like, why are we doing this to ourselves? I don't know. Like,
It's
mute, block, ignore.
Yeah, I actually that's probably a good thing. I'm just gonna start blocking and muting all the bots to try and just get them down the algorithm, you know?
That's what I've been doing because, and I've noticed this on X, you'll get the inappropriate accounts following your comments. You click on them, zero followers, and that causes your reach to be limited because it looks like now all these spam accounts are commenting on you. So
Uh,
I think it might be smart to make a post about why XRP is retarded, and then as everyone
yeah.
floods in, block everybody in that thread, just in one fell swoop. Clean it
Yeah.
up,
Can you
tighten up.
mass block everybody in there, or can you have to go account by account, I guess?
Yeah, you got to go account by account. But once you've done that hard work, now you should have kind of tightened the gaps in your echo chamber.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Where do you want to go from here? Actually, I want to go. I want to show something. We've got some exciting news. We've got a pro bitbo.io account, and I'm pretty stoked on it. Have you been able to log in and play around at all?
Yeah, I did. I didn't log in, but I looked at the free stuff that they had.
Well, it's pretty sick, dude. Like, there's a lot of different charts and stuff you can look at. Just to show you price projections, I like this chart because it shows you what, five different price models: stock to income, power law, the actual price, which is in yellow, stock to flow, and then the rainbow. And it shows you where we're at and then where we're projected to go based off all these different models. So, like,
All right, go to May 1st.
just to say, zoom out, May
Go
1st.
to, yeah, go to May 1st, 2025.
I'm trying to get there. Well, I can go, I'm getting like 5.8 right now. Oh, that's sorry.
Yeah, look at that. Power loss is 113.
Yeah, stock to income says they were
Stock to
going to
flow is
360.
222. Yeah, stock to flow is always higher, like way, way higher. I don't think there's any chance we'll be over 200. But yeah, I think 120, 130.
If we go to 2030,
Oh,
5 years
this is,
from now,
yeah.
even at this rate, well, I don't know. I mean, like, look at the ranges there.
I don't know what to think, man. I feel like these are all bearish. This is what I did too. I looked out and I thought 2030. I mean, I think even Kathy Wood thinks we're going to be at 1.5 million at
Yeah.
2030.
Well,
And
listen, the top one, stock to flow and stock to income, 3.2, 2.5. I
I
think
think
that makes sense.
yeah, 2.5 by 2030 makes sense.
And
Two and a
look,
half.
I mean, and if we want to talk about the feasibility of outperforming that, like, look at this is the actual price, the yellow.
Yeah,
And we do outperform it over a
right.
long enough time horizon, right? We've just dipped back down below it for now. But if you just look, I mean, there's times where the actual price is outperforming all these models.
Yeah. There are still Samson Mao, he still thinks a million in 2025.
That's crazy. Do we think so? At this point, is
Yeah,
it so
dude, why not?
crazy? Is it
Yes.
so crazy?
I'll tell you the factors that could influence it. The 10-year yield comes down. The Q1 GDP goes negative, negative 1.5. That causes the 10-year and then the spending cuts with Doge. So and you'll need some more factors here. Unemployment also increases because of all the government layoffs. 80% of the jobs through halfway last year were government jobs. So if you combine the 10-year yield coming down, government jobs getting eliminated that sends in unemployment up, national GDP going down to negative 1.5, which would be really unheard of. There is no choice but to lower interest rates and turn on the money printer. Yes, that will have a cause that will hurt inflation and will cause inflation to go up. But when the 10-year rate comes down, interest on homes and other purchases will also come down. So imagine that this year, if you're going to go buy a mortgage, your mortgage rate is back to 3%.
Yeah.
Auto loans have come back down. People are spending. Let's say the government gives everyone a dividend check of 5 or 10 or whatever it is. And I think that you're going to see quantitative easing in a different way. And yeah, that would absolutely be rocket fuel for Bitcoin. So I don't think it would be that unusual to have all those factors start to materialize this spring. Summer's always boring, but maybe towards the fall, September to November time period, we really see something like that happen.
Wow, man. I mean, just whether it happens this year or not, just to be a part of the ride is really exciting. I mean, just to be a part of this movement and what we're gonna look back on and all the stories we're gonna tell, it's gonna be pretty fucking epic.
All the people you called retarded along the way.
Yeah, that's actually would be a good name for a documentary. All the people you
It's
call retarded along the
it's
way.
a it's a children's book. You
Yeah,
graduate from kindergarten.
yeah.
Yeah, we let's say the US doesn't buy Bitcoin, or let's say they were buying Bitcoin but they don't announce it, but the states do. And if we see some of the states continue to put it in their pension funds or use state treasury funds to purchase Bitcoin, could potentially be big buys. I mean, I don't think we're that far away from higher prices. It just, right now it feels like it's going to last forever, but I don't think it will.
No, it just gives us a little second to breathe and regather. And I don't know. This is where part of the culture gets formed too. Not really in the crazy price run-ups. The culture gets formed right now. All the shit posting and arguing and stuff. This is good stuff. So we should just embrace it.
Yeah, the bear market is for building, and we're not in a bear market, but like you said, it is kind of a good opportunity to
Little
um,
lull.
yeah, to go back and, what do you really believe? For me, it's been stuff outside of Bitcoin that's been helpful. I think, not that I've hit my limit of calling people, retarded, but
Never.
it doesn't have the same satisfaction that it used to. So for a long time, I think, I'm going to create memes on Twitter until like at least the 2028 halving. Um, but I find that I'm making fun of people like Michael Saylor for not holding his private keys and
Yeah.
using centralized custodians.
Yeah. We need new meme templates, by the way. Like we need new Sailor was just like so memeable, but it's run its course. The whole there is no second best was such a good run of memes, which I partook in. I love it. But it's overplayed now. We need like a new adopter of Bitcoin that's as crazy as Sailor that just says wild shit that we can use as a sort of template. I don't know who that's gonna be.
I don't know. I mean, everyone keeps talking about the GameStop Ryan Cohen. Um,
Yeah.
perhaps GameStop will purchase Bitcoin. I think I don't know if he's going to have any wild takes. Um, but yeah, it would be helpful to have some kind of firebrand like that.
GameStop has a fucking amazing opportunity in front of them. And I really do hope that they take advantage of it in adopting Bitcoin because I've always felt that that whole GameStop movement was misplaced. Like, and I still like you're owning this stock that can be frozen and it's manipulated and all this. If you really want to be a part of the revolution, you hold Bitcoin in self-custody. And if they were to buy a shit ton of Bitcoin, they become sort of like a micro strategy, the whole micro strategy model. That's great. People should still own Bitcoin directly. But I'm not going to complain if if GameStop does that and people want to hold the stock, fine.
Yeah, I think they already did. I think they already bought Bitcoin.
Do you think they did?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to tell anyone until they've done it or they do a 13F filing. And I think that they did. I mean, Ryan Cohen's down there with Sailor. He's taking pictures at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
I think that this has been true for me. Everyone is buying sats in secret for the most part.
Yeah.
The people who are really buying it, the government, whether they lost all their Bitcoin or not, the government's going to buy it in secret.
Lost.
GameStop is going to buy it in secret. Yeah, I think Michael Saylor goes out there and says it because he's trying to do something new. He's already taken so much of the pie. It doesn't matter if he tells someone he's buying Bitcoin. It actually causes the price to drop. But I think that companies like GameStop are buying it, and we'll find out. We'll find out later how much they've purchased.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's like the ultimate based stamp of approval, though. If you start putting Bitcoin on your balance sheet, it's like fucking based, man.
Based. So based.
Fucking, I'll buy that stock. Although I won't. I don't buy stocks. I
Yeah.
I've wanted, I mean, listen, like I would have probably like I would have loved to have bought MicroStrategy back in the day, but I just everything I had putting toward Bitcoin. I mean, there's a reason strategy is buying Bitcoin. There's a reason Fold is buying Bitcoin. There's a reason GameStop and Rumble are buying Bitcoin. So I want to hold the thing that they're buying, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much easier to just purchase
I don't have
Bitcoin,
enough money
hold
to
it.
be like, well, I'm gonna put some in the stocks here. It's like, what I'm fucking $500 in the stocks. Like, I don't think so. It's fine.
I think you're doing it the right way. So I got a question. Let's say they remove capital gains taxes, they remove income tax,
Yeah.
they remove property tax, and they replace it with consumption tax. What happens to all the H&R Block, the TurboTax, the financial planners? What happens to everyone who has been making a career on tax avoidance strategies?
They fucking go out of business, man. Those services are pretty much scams anyway. I don't know, dude. What do they do? Um, fuck. Like that's the thing. It just is such a huge industry has been built off of taxation. It's such a grift. So I would be happy to see pain in that industry, you know? Even if I mean you might be a good person, but like I don't know, I don't know, I would choose that path. I guess they would have to go and try and like get jobs in the private industry, running financials for companies and you know, doing things that way. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the future belongs to the solopreneur. It's
Yeah,
the
good.
individual who can provide a service or a value, who earns Bitcoin, saves in Bitcoin, and is relatively autonomous, can take his internet connection anywhere in the world, perform the duties and the tasks that he needs to, and not be subject to the state of any state, borderless.
Yeah, that's
Think
me.
about,
That's you. That's a movement.
yeah.
Absolutely. And I couldn't have it any other way at this point in my life. Like I pretty much think I'm psychologically unemployable. I I think I'd be a problem for most offices. We go in cubicle to cubicle talking about conspiracy theories and ending the Fed and um, you know, all that type of shit. I don't think I have to at this point in my life. It's just I was almost forced to just do it my way, and it's been amazing. Um, I wouldn't change a thing. I think a lot of people, like as you point out, are recognizing that, and Bitcoiners especially. Like that's what the goal is: run your own business, solopreneur, whatever, have complete freedom and autonomy. That's the dream, dude. That is the dream. So I'm in the early innings of that. like in terms of like having doing my own thing. Um, but yeah, I like once Bitcoin does its thing, it just opens up a lot more doors as well, you know?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, we're waiting for the right things, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, I think we've done the work and just waiting for that ship to come in.
Yeah. Yeah. Fun times, dude. Man, I don't know, this whole week just feels like it's kind of flown by in a weird way where I'm looking at the chart right now and I'm just it's funny how we just measure the sentiment of the week and the price of Bitcoin, like the feel of it. And I don't know. I will stick to what I was saying though. I do think that by April we're 130K. That's what I think. And I just think right now it's lulling us into absolutely rip and melt faces in the coming weeks. I look at the chart and I'm like, this is going to surprise a lot of people and it's going to be really fucking exciting and fun.
Yeah. The other, thing to note is that 84K is or 79 is like the resistance level, you know. And, last week we talked about not getting down to those numbers, but we're here now and Bitcoin is just holding up. It's holding up really well. I didn't even get a chance to buy in the 80s before this because after the election it went from like 60 to 90.
Completely skipped the
Yeah.
80. Yeah.
So, we're kind of seeing what Bitcoin does at this range, and it could take a couple of months, but I also think, like you said, it could happen really quickly, and we could have a new buyer show up with significant capital that really starts something in a big way.
Hmm. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. Well, listen, should we buy some Bitcoin? I got a call coming up at the top of the hour, which is why I
Let's
had
do
to.
it, man.
So let's buy some Bitcoin and stack some sats.
All right.
Uh, we are buying in the 80s today. Good decade, the 80s.
Yeah, man. Things were simpler.
Well, 21.
Let's do it.
All right, 21. Preview my order. I'm using River as always. 84.8 actually, with a 21-cent fee.
Whew, man. So I'm going to use Strike. I looked at Kraken, and it's at 86. You got to purchase at 86.
Wow.
Goodness, that is quite the spread.
What strike?
I'm looking right now.
Probably 84 2.
84.6.
84.6. All right.
That works though. I'll do that.
Yeah, yeah.
24,500 sats.
Let's go. Feels good. Every time we stack sats on the stack show, I feel good.
Yeah, man. I've been waiting all week to purchase, not like I'm totally out of money, but it's,
Yeah.
all right, there we go.
Even even just like $5, right? Like even just to get in the action a little bit. Buy five.
Yeah, yeah,
That's it.
yeah. No,
We
definitely.
don't need to overdo it, like have it be a substantive amount.
Yeah, I kind of like the smash buy though when you've got a good chunk of change, and you can
Yeah.
just boom, get
That's
point zero 0.01, you
yeah.
know, $840. Boom, got point oh 0.01.
Yeah. Yeah. That is nice. I haven't been able to do that in a while, but I had been getting paid in Bitcoin. So it's a great feeling. It's a different feeling than buying it, you know?
Yeah, that's a cheat code right there.
Yeah, it's a cheat code. So that sort of supplemented me buying it, to be honest.
All right, next week, let's talk about mining. I'm gonna buy a solo miner. I,
Okay.
I have a I have a bid axe. It doesn't do. I mean, it's gonna take 8,000 years to hit a block with a bid axe. I'm gonna do like a future bit, like spend 800, $900 and get a decent solo miner.
Okay. Let's talk about that. Okay, send me some information about what you're going to do, and we can spend some time next week just working through it. I might join you.
Yeah, because I want those sats, you know. And if you mine it, it's a lot less emotional, you know, because it doesn't matter what the price is, those sats are coming in.
You know what? There are good services like SAS Mining, which does some
Hmm.
pretty cool stuff, right? So it's you can get wild sats, KYC free sats, and it's a different
Yeah.
model they have, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's the one area that I haven't really spent too much time physically doing stuff in, and I want to get kind of nerdy with mining.
Yeah, that sounds fun, man. Okay, I'll go down this side quest with you.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Although I want to get one attached to a solar panel. Being in
Huh,
Hawaii, I just like have that bad boy set up. Like, dude, I don't know. It's like,
do it.
we have panels on the house and everything, so I think there's options out there. But I think that's the way to do it in Hawaii, at least.
Yeah, can you plug it into the volcano USB-C
Yeah, dude.
connection? Just
Volcano mining. Speaking of which, there's a lot of fog right now. So there's been an eruption, right? And there's lava flowing right now. And so when that happens, just all the exhaust from that volcano spews up into the air, volcanic ash, and then it
yeah.
spreads across the island chain. And it's like really bad allergies and like almost like flu-like symptoms for some people if it hits you hard.
Oh,
So
oh goodness.
that was yesterday and today. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely kind of feeling it a little bit. For what I've just been trying to get over this cold or infection, like sinus infection that I got like I don't know, 3 weeks or a month ago. But I don't know. I feel like the Vogue is kind of trying to hold me down. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna rise up. I'm gonna rise above the Vogue and just push through.
Yeah. Or, you know, you might need a living will. Make an end of life
Yeah,
plan.
yeah, yeah.
Don't let those sats be a donation to the network.
All right, brother. Always a
All right,
pleasure.
man.
Have a good weekend. We'll talk later.
All right, dude. See you.
Peace.